The topic of this video is Seelo's second theorem and its proof. In the previous video, we studied Seelo's first theorem and discussed its proof also. Let G be a finite group and K be a positive integer dividing order of the group G. Then we are looking for subgroup of G which has order K. So if G is a abelian group, then G has a subgroup of order K. Otherwise there is a problem to find a subgroup of order K when dividing order of G. One can note that the order of A4, the alternating group of degree 4, is 12 and 6 divides 12. However, A4 has no subgroup of order 6. So this example is a counter example of Lagrange theorem, which states that order of subgroups divide order of G, and converse of Lagrange theorem states that if K divides order of G, then G has a subgroup of order K. So we see that the converse of Lagrange theorem doesn't hold for alternating group of degree 4. Now we are looking for a prime number. We can see that 6 is a composite number and 6 is dividing 12. So if we are looking for a prime number, then by Cauchy theorem we have studied in our previous videos. By Cauchy theorem, if P is divide order of group G, then G has a subgroup of order P. So in this situation, if K is a prime number, then G must have a subgroup of order K by Cauchy theorem. In Seelo's theorem, we studied that if a prime power dividing order of G, then G has a subgroup of that order, prime power order. So this is Seelo's P subgroup definition here. If G is a finite group of order P raised to power n q, where P doesn't divide Q, the positive integer Q, P is a prime, n is a non-negative integer. So Pn divides order of G and Pn plus 1 doesn't divide order of G, then the subgroup of order P raised to power n is known as Seelo's P subgroup. And this theorem, Seelo's first theorem, gives existence of this Seelo's P subgroup. If P divides order of P raised to power n divides order of G, then and P raised to power n plus 1 doesn't divide order of G, then G has a subgroup of order P raised to power n. Even P doesn't divide order of G, then identity subgroup can be considered as Seelo's P subgroup in this situation. In the next situation, we will consider Seelo's P subgroups. There may be more than one Seelo's P subgroup of a finite group G, and we are considering here non-abelian groups, because if we consider abelian group, then according to Seelo's second theorem, which we will prove here, these Seelo's P subgroups will be conjugate, and in case of abelian group, they will coincide with Seelo's P subgroup. So there will be no Seelo's P subgroup other than P itself in case of abelian group. So throughout this study we will assume non-abelian group. So a subgroup Q is said to be conjugate of P in a group G if there exists a non-identity element in G such that Q can be written as XP X inverse. So Q is said to be conjugate of P if we can write Q in such a way. So if P is a CELO P subgroup, then order of P will be P raised to power n, and Q is also a CELO P subgroup because it is a conjugate of it, and order of Q will be P raised to power n. So if P is a CELO P subgroup and Q is its conjugate, then its order will be P raised to power n, and hence it will be CELO P subgroup. Moreover, if Q equal P, then P is normal subgroup in G. It is well known. Now we consider a group G, symmetric group of degree 3, in which we have 6 elements. These are well known elements. We have studied in our previous videos Cauchy theorems. So G is a group having 6 elements, and we are considering here two subgroup of group G. One is this and second is this. This is containing these two elements. This contains these two elements. We can see that Q can be expressed as XP X inverse, 4X is 2 3, this permutation. So Q is a conjugate of P. One can see that both are CELO 2 subgroup of order 2. Now if we take H as a subgroup of G with 3 elements, then anyone can see here H equal XH X inverse for all X belongs to G. So here H is a unique CELO P subgroup. Here we will study when the condition when this uniqueness comes out. Okay, now any two CELO P subgroups of a finite group are conjugate, and hence they are isomorphic. So as we have seen that if P and Q are CELO P subgroup, then order will be P raised to power n, and both will be isomorphic. They are subgroup of same group. Now we state here CELO second theorem. G is a finite group of order P raised to power n with the conditions we have discussed earlier. Then any CELO P subgroup of G are conjugate. So we will see if we consider two CELO P subgroup, then we will prove that Q will be a conjugate of P. Before proving this, we will define double cosets concept. This concept is similar to a single concept of coset, and there is nothing new. So we explain here how double cosets can be defined and what happens when we consider double cosets. So H and K be two subgroups of a group G, and if you take two elements of a group G, then we can relate these two elements by writing in this way: B equal H A K, for some H belongs to H, K belongs to K. So we say A is related to B if B can be expressed in this form. So this relation can be verified as equivalence relation, and the corresponding equivalence class will be of the type and is denoted by HAK, and we call double cosets of H and K in G. So we can see that there is an action of elements of K on the right cosets of H, and action of H on left cosets of K. If we deal together these action, then we have this type of equivalence classes. So these equivalence classes gives a partition on G, and they will be either identical or disjoint, and therefore the collection gives rise a partition of G, and hence G can be written as union of these subsets of G. And since these subsets are disjoint, so we can write order of G is a sum of number of elements of these subsets. Here hash HAK denotes the number of elements in HAK in double cosets. Now if we define a mapping psi A, this is in such a way HAK to HAKA inverse psi A HAKA inverse. So it can be seen that it is a bijective mapping, and therefore these two subsets of G have the same number of element, and therefore the number of element in HAK is same as number of element in HAKA inverse, and we know that this is AKA inverse is a subgroup of G, H is a subgroup of G. Then we can use this concept order of H, order of AKA inverse, and this, and we know that the number of element in conjugate of K is same as number of element in K. So we can write this order of H, order of K upon order of H intersection AKA inverse. Now we will give proof of Silo second theorem. Now P and Q be two Silo P subgroups of order P raised to power n here. Now we want to prove that they are conjugate. We assume contrary here. Suppose they are not conjugate, so it means that they cannot be written in such form. It means that Q is not equal x px inverse for all x belongs to G. So from the expression, as we have already discussed about double cosets concept, and we have seen that order of G is a sum of number of elements of these double cosets, where G varies over the union of disjoint double cosets P, G, Q. So from the expression, second expression, as we have seen that here H can be taken as P and K can be taken as Q. We have this order of P is P raised to power n, order of Q is P raised to power n, and this is a subgroup of P. P intersection G, Q, G inverse is a subgroup of P, and order of since P is a P group, so its subgroup will be also has order P raised to power some prime power. So we can assume that order of P intersection G, Q, G inverse is P raised to power R, where R varies from 0 to n minus 1. We know that this is not equal to P. If you take P inverse GQ, G inverse equal P, then you know that its intersection will be P. So this will be GQ, G inverse will be P, and therefore P will be conjugate of Q will be conjugate of P, or you can say P is a conjugate of P. So in such a situation, we will assume that P intersection G, Q, G inverse is a proper subset of P. As we have seen, if you take equal, then we have a contradiction because they are not conjugate here. So R is strictly less than n here. So because this is a subgroup of P and it is a proper subset of P, therefore its order will be proper subgroup of P, so its order will be less than order of P. So finally we have the number of element in PGQ is double cosets is P raised to power 2n minus R. Now from here r n is greater than r greater than equals 0, so 2n minus r can be written as n plus 1 plus n minus r minus 1 in this way. And therefore the number of element in this cosets, double cosets, can be written as p raised to power n plus 1 into p raised to power n minus r plus 1. So you see that each double cosets each double cosets is divisible by p raised to power n plus 1. And from this expression we know that each cosets is divisible by p raised to power n plus 1. So p raised to power n plus 1 will divide order of g, which is a contradiction, because we have taken p is a CeLO p subgroup and p raised to power n divide order of g, and no prime power more than p raised to power n plus 1 cannot divide order of g. But here we have assumed that uh, q is not equal x p x inverse, and therefore we having the condition here pn plus 1 dividing order of g, which is a contradiction. And therefore our position was wrong, that we have assumed that there is a no element g in g satisfying this condition. It means that there is an element in g will satisfy this condition, and this proves CeLO second theorem. These books may be helpful in this topic. Okay, thank you.